Welcome, wonderful viewers. It is that wonderful time where we come together in this wonderful dynamic show called Ladies in Heels, Step Up to Stand Out, becoming a force that can't be ignored. As you know that in our show, we kind of showcase the kind of leaders we have in South Africa. And today it's a different ball game altogether. We have the honor, the privilege, the divine grace to host a very dynamic leader where he comes not just in an African continent, but globally. He's well known of his great leadership attributes. Before he talks for himself, let me allow my co-host, the Eagle, Epic Mo herself. Welcome, ma'am, to the show.
Back in studio, looking all South African, I see. Absolutely look beautiful, my friend.
I'm proud of my country. I'm blessed to be a South African, I tell you.
Definitely easy like that, hey?
Aha.
All right, Lady A, as you have said, we have a dynamic leader with us today, and I will leave it to you to introduce himself just a little bit.
As you all know that in our show, we kind of bring different leaders with different brands, and the specific leader that we have today globally, which is Steve Tunde from Cameroon. He's well known about his great leadership attributes. He's a dynamic ministry leader. He does farming, which I find it very interesting as well. And he's pursuing and pushing a lot of leadership consultation. So there's a lot to feast on today. I always call him a bank of wisdom, an ocean of knowledge, a groundbreaker, and surely a builder. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
I'm good, I'm good. I'm good.
Tell our viewers more about yourself. I've tried to define you my own way, but I believe that you have your own way how you can define yourself. I believe that the viewers, they can't wait to know more about you. Maybe take it from a background of your childhood and build up from there.
Oh, hello viewers. My name is Tunde Steve and I'm from Cameroon. My life is a book.
Let's unpack the book. Let's page the pages of the book.
It's a book with many chapters. I grew up in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. I live in Cameroon. I've been to 49 countries. And I've seen a lot of things and a lot of people. I've met a lot of tribes of the world. So I love my life. Let me say it.
You love your life.
Yes, I love my life. I love my life because like I always say to people, my life is just more than one life.
Okay.
Yeah, in these little years I've lived on this planet, I think it can be up to 5 lives. Because I've lived from one stage to the other. I started life very early, adulthood very early, I got into business very early. Before I was 17, I was all over everywhere. So there's a lot about me, and I think when you begin to ask me questions, I will know what to talk about. Because if I have to talk about myself, we will be here till tomorrow.
Okay.
I like it. I like the way you introduced him to say he's an ocean of knowledge. Now I understand the 49 countries. I was waiting for her to say you are an earth shaker, earth mover. You know, the way she was carrying on and on and on. But anyway, Lady A.
You know, Joe Rowling says the choices that we make reveals who we truly are more than our abilities.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, sir?
Yeah, life is all about the choice we make.
Okay.
Yeah, because our choice influences our actions, which actually influence our habits to our character and to us. And so the junction of decision in our life is, a choice is what I call the junction of decision. Yeah, before that junction, there are processes. And after the junction, there is you. Yeah, before the junction of choice, we have environment, we have knowledge, we have experience, we have belief, we have value, and then we have choice. And when we get to the place of choice, then after the choice, there is also action, habit, character, and you. So I love when you talk about choice, it's a junction of life. Because that is what determines what you become.
Now you've just provoked me something. You've mentioned that you've been in 49 countries and boom, you are Mzansi, South Africa. How did you make that choice? How did it come about?
Well, I knew at the time of my life I would be here. Even though when I was about 20 years of age, I tried to come to South Africa. Yes, I was in Botswana. So I tried to get into South Africa, and I couldn't. So I turned back. And since then, that was about around January year 2000, about 22 years ago. So I tried to get into South Africa, I couldn't, and then I left. And I never made any attempts to be here again. Until about last year, and some of my staffs told me, won't you like to be in South Africa? I said, well, I have South Africa as a plan for 2022. But if there's an opportunity for me to go to South Africa, I would like it. And then they said, okay, they'll put up the applications and everything. And then I wasn't involved, I was busy. And they put up the applications and all, and they told me it's going to be out in about 3 to 7 days. And after 7 days, nothing. 2 weeks, nothing. 3 weeks, nothing. A month, nothing. With some weeks, I was out of the country and flying in, landing in Cameroon. I got an email from the Home Affairs, whatever. And I read the mail. I got a visa. I said, okay, let me see Zanzibar. Let's see how it looked like. And that's what brought me here the first time, November 2021.
Okay, let me give it to Epic more.
Yeah, no, quite interesting, Steve. Ne? But I just feel like you've not dug in a little bit more as to who is Steve. You know, actually, who are you?
Steve is Steve. A lot about me. Steve is Steve.
Okay, I heard you are in ministry. I heard you are in consultation and so forth.
I'm in ministry. I'm a farmer. I'm a business consultant. And I'm a leadership consultant for United Nations. And so those are the major things I do. There are other things I do, but those are the major things I do.
Well, I like the issue of farming, you know, because farming actually teaches you to be patient in whatever that you do, right? So what are you farming with? What is it is it crops? Is it cattle? Is it, you know?
No, I farm crops.
Oh, you do farm crops?
Cash crops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so what is one thing that you learned as a leader from farming crops?
No, actually, what got me into farming was, I love seeing things grow. I love the growing process of everything.
Okay.
Human, business, ministry, crops, animals. And then one of the easiest way to motivate the youth, the Cameroonian youth at that time, because I do a lot of motivational talks around and I inspire a lot of people. And we are in an economy where a lot of people don't have work to do.
Okay.
But this is fertile land everywhere. But you guys are not doing anything. And so every time I talk about it in conferences, they look at it as if it is impossible. So 1 year, I just told myself, about 5 years ago, I just told myself, okay, I'm going to do it.
Let's hold it right there. It's all about growth, and we're going to take a break and stay with us. We are coming back. Welcome back, wonderful viewers. Thank you for still being with us until this time. Before we took a break, we are talking about growth, and we just want to unpack a little bit more about it so that we can enable you in a better way.
Yeah, you talked about growth, the love of seeing things grow. And we know, you and I, either from religion, biblical, that before there is growth, there should be a process.
Yeah.
All right? So you as a leader, how do you grow people? You talked about you doing motivational talks. Yeah. But over and above that, how do you grow people?
Well, growing people, to me, is an habit. Yeah. The first thing I do, I use the process of farming to grow people. That's what I do. So I sow seeds in them. You know, the words that we speak, their spirit and their life. Yeah. So the seed I use is the word. So because I believe that what you hear is what motivates what you do.
Yeah.
So I grow people by talking to them. And then when I talk to them, you know, I have this in my mission statement, inspiring, motivating, and challenging people to excellence. And so I inspire them with my word.
Yeah.
I motivate them with my actions. And I challenge them by making them to face problems.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Yeah, growth in a very in a nutshell. Quite interesting what you said now. To say you plant a seed.
Yeah.
You know, I like this saying that says, they thought they buried you and they forgot that you are a seed. You know, because the very important thing, a seed can be as small as anything else.
Yeah.
But what I like about the seed is that it can reproduce itself.
Yeah.
Now, when you plant a seed in somebody else, as a leader, you are looking for that reproduction, and not only plant one meal and then there's just 1 meal. You know that you're gonna get, the whole meal that you can actually take off some seeds. But let's go to my next question, which is currency. You know, in your opinion, what is the most important currency? Either being time, being health, and so forth.
And wealth.
And wealth, yes. What will you regard as the most important currency?
Most of the time, it's difficult for me to answer some questions because I'm a different person. What I'm saying is, am I going to answer as a pastor? I'm going to answer as a business consultant.
As a leader.
You can
as a
answer.
leader.
Yeah.
The most powerful currency as a leader is faith.
It's
faith.
It's faith.
Yes, let's use the word faith when it comes to Christianity. But when it comes to life, generally, it's belief.
Okay.
So let's use the word belief now because we don't know who's watching us. Maybe we have Muslims or other religions watching us or traditionalists watching us. So let's use the word belief.
Okay.
The most powerful currency is belief. Whatever you can believe, you can get.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to deviate from your answer from
Yeah.
what you're saying. But for me, the most important currency as a leader really is health. Health. Because I always say, without health, there's nothing that you can do. If I don't have my health, I will not be able to be here.
Yeah.
I can have time, I can have money, but those things will not buy my, healthy self. So I get where you're coming from to say, for you, it is a belief. It's whatever that you believe in, you can actually get.
Yeah.
All right. So just give me an example of something that you really believed in and you got.
Well, I will just give. Let me say this. Belief is more than just a mental imagination. Yeah. Belief is one of the most powerful things on earth. Yes. You see, you can accept a thing. You see, most of the time when you talk about belief, people think you're talking about acceptance.
Yes.
If I say, can you believe me? You may accept me, but you don't believe me. Yes. Because belief is a process. Yes. Belief is very powerful. Now, I have believed in many things in life.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a man of vision. When I dream, I don't wait for anything. I make myself available for that. Yeah. Whatever I can dream of, whether God gives to me or out of my aspiration, I get a dream and I put it down as a vision. Yeah. The first thing I do is to believe in it first. And when I believe in it, I get it. First is the ministry I operate in Cameroon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm an engineer, so I'm a very practical person.
Yeah.
So when you talk to me, I want examples to say, the ministry, this is what I believed in, and this is what I got.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. When I got to Cameroon, as a matter of fact, it was a long process. Yeah, it was a long process. Before starting what I had to do in Cameroon, I lost everything I had before.
Okay.
Yes, I lost everything I had before. Year after year, everything was going down.
Okay.
Until I was going to start it, what I had to do in Cameroon. And then the only thing that I had was to believe in myself and believe the God that I serve. And I started. So Hilltop Faith Ministry is a product of belief in God and belief in my personal capacity. So I pastor one of the leading ministries in Cameroon today. And then in the year 2019, I was voted as most impactful pastor in Cameroon.
I think we'll touch on that more when we do the last closure of this episode. But there's one thing that I just want to highlight. John Maxwell says, You know, people, they don't care how much you know, but what matters to people is how much you care. And personally, I believe that care and love cannot be separated.
Yeah.
And therefore, by saying this, how do you show love to the people that you are leading? You know, you've got people that are working for you in the farm, you've got people in ministry, you've got different stakeholders that you deal with on a daily basis. And love is the best source that sustains majority of the different friendships or relationships that you might have as a leader. So how do you show up with love?
One of my secrets, one of my ways to show love is I have never differentiated myself from the people I lead.
Okay.
If you get to where I work, if you get to our organization, if you get to our church, you may not even know the pastor. You may not know who is the pastor. If you get to my office, one of my staffs is here today. You may not quickly know because they wear what I wear, they eat what I eat. We do the same thing, and then I'm so close to them. We're friends. I just picked that from Jesus Christ. I mean, they had to pay somebody to be able to reveal who was Jesus among the 12. So if you get to where I work, it will be very difficult to know that this is the leader. And because I don't believe that I have to lord myself over anybody. I believe in leadership by servanthood. So I flow with them.
Okay.
I'm friend.
That's it. It's all about servanthood leadership. He reminds me of Jesus' philosophy, which is known as that we are called to serve. Let's take a break. Welcome back, wonderful viewers. Thank you for staying with us this wonderful day. We've just unpacked some of the ingredients of good leadership. We've spoken about growth and we've touched on servanthood leadership. Let's hear what more do we have for you today.
Brother Steve,
Yeah.
you know, talking to you, I just get an understanding that you are a pastor, you are a teacher, you are a consultant, you are so many things. Ne?
Yeah.
So in my language as an engineer, I would say my toolbox, you know, it's full, you know. So one thing about me is that I draw my inspiration from Einstein. I love Einstein. Who do you draw your inspiration from?
Well, every part of my life has a definite mentor.
Okay.
Yeah. As a pastor, I have some couple of pastors I look up to.
Okay.
My personal pastor, who is Pastor Chinedu Muma, Lagos, Nigeria.
All right.
Yeah, and that's my main pastor. And every other I have other mentors that I draw inspiration from. In the area of business in my life, I look at people like Elon Musk. I look at Bill Gates. I look at what they're doing, and I try to copy what they're doing. Yeah, and every other part. I mean, also in leadership, I think I am more of Bill Clinton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, eh?
I'm more of Bill Clinton and Mandela. Just to.
All right, just a bit. You touched. You see, when you talk about Elon Musk, now you know, you just
Hit it.
Yeah, you just started me. You started my engine as an engineer. What will you say set him apart? What makes him different?
I would say vision.
The vision, his vision.
Yeah, his vision. And Elon Musk sees what people don't see.
Okay, which is
If you listen to him, if you have been following him serially, you will realize that he's a man that thinks about the next 100 years. He thinks about next 200 years. He thinks about next 50 years. I think that is what made me to follow him.
I just want you to be specific.
Yeah.
What do you mean he thinks? There's one thing that I think sets him apart. But you just mentioned that he thinks 100 years from now. What make you say that?
Yeah, okay, for example, recently he was talking about a life in Mars.
There you are.
There you are.
Now he has just nailed it. Maybe let's take it from there. You know, in any type of organization, whether you are in corporate, whether you are in government, whether you do ministry, wherever you are, there's one common goal that we all have in our different spaces of business, making sure that we become a very performing organization, you know, where when we lead our people, when we effectively engage with our people, we instill a high-performing culture wherever we are. And one thing that stood out for me was to say, let's look in terms of ministry. Because in corporate, you find that there are processes and procedures in place and rewards and recognition systems in place.
Correct.
And I'm happy that we've got a guru here, a great leader in ministry. So what we want to find out from you, Bishop Steve, is that how do you go about recognizing and rewarding people in your ministry and making sure that their moral is up? Because I think at the end of the day, you are driving the kingdom culture, making sure that you win souls for Christ. So how do you stimulate them? How do you reward them? Perhaps you give them bonuses. Let's hear from you.
Not the best bonus you can give to somebody is his preferred future.
Okay.
Yeah, not money, not monetary. When I was starting ministry, the first thing I asked God to give me is insight into people's life, into their future, where they are going to, their purpose in life, ability to paint the picture of the future before them. So everyone that comes into my front, when I see you in our ministry, when you come to my front, when you meet me the first time, what I want to know about you is where you're going.
Okay.
Yes, where you're going. And I pray to God, give me, who is this person?
Okay.
Yeah, who is this person? Beyond how you see yourself and what you see about yourself. So when I talk to people, I give them the future. You know, it's just like when Moses got to Egypt. He was going to liberate the Israelites.
Okay.
Yeah. What he told them, he asked God, what do I tell them? What do I tell them when I get to Egypt? He said, tell them that I'm taking them to the land that is flowing of milk and honey, and you will no longer consume onion and garlic.
Okay.
So he told them. So he painted the picture of the future before them. So I think the first thing that every leader need to have followers is to be able to present to them the future.
Unlock their destinies.
Unlock their destinies. So when we started Hilltop, I didn't start by having conferences, programs, crusade. I started by picking up people who were homeless on the street. Yeah, many of the people that work with me today, my pastors today, about 16 of them, about 14 of them had no home. They had nothing they were doing. There were people who were hanging. Many of them were sleeping on my veranda. So that's how I gathered all of them together and I began to tell them. They used to call me Uncle Steve. I have never introduced myself pastor or whatever anywhere. I've never given myself any title. But when you meet me, I tell you, what's your name? I tell you, my name is Steve. So after 1 day or 2 days, you yourself, you will know what to tell me, whether you call me apostle or you call me bishop or you call me whatever you. So when I met them, I began to tutor them. This is what we will be. Many of them couldn't talk. Just like me. Many years ago, I was a stammerer, a very bad stammerer. Many of them couldn't talk. Many of them couldn't stand before crowd to talk. Many of them didn't even believe in themselves. Many of them were not educated. Many of them were dropped out in school. So some I sent back to school. Then I turned my house to where I trained them on their vocation. Those I trained on journalism. Those I trained on media and whatever. Those I trained in their various areas of life. Those I sent back to school. And when they finished, they all put their hands together and we raise what we call Hilltop Faith Church today. So that is it.
You are known as a man of excellence, which I would regard it as your personal brand. How do you keep up with this brand?
It's a spirit in the first place. So excellence is not a brand, it's a spirit. So you get possessed of it.
Okay.
Yes, you get possessed of it. When you are possessed of it, it controls your life.
This is so interesting. Here it's being possessed with excellence and not demon possessed. Right? So it is interesting today. Maybe the last question that we want to give to you today, Bishop Steve. I know that you've written a number of books. If you can kindly share with our viewers, unpack the number of books that you've written and kind of give highlights and tell them where they can access or buy your books.
Yeah, I've written, the bestseller of my book was my first book, Life Without Tears. Yeah, Life Without Tears is not available on Amazon. It is available in the bookshop.
Okay.
There in Yaoundé. But the latest book we have, which is available on Amazon, is Recover Your Winning Magic. Recover Your Winning Magic. And there I talked about how if you have ever been clapped for before and you lost it, You can get.
I see Epicmo is very interested on this book specifically.
You can get it back. You can get back that smile. You can get back that personality, and even better. And so that's the latest book. That is the only book available on Amazon. Recover Your Winning Magic by Olatunde Steve. So that's that. And I've written a book. I have one, The Power of Negotiation. Yes, I have a book on the power of negotiation. I have a book on why you do what you do. I have another one on victory is certain. And then I have another one, power of supernatural endorsement. So
Okay.
that's a few of my books.
That's it. Now you can understand very well, as I've said in the beginning, that is the bank of wisdom. Thank you so much for being with us today. As we close in this episode, we want to say to you, if you are not inspired, you will expire. If you are not informed, you'll be deformed. If you are not in the know, you won't flow. And therefore, as Ladies in Heels, we empower and you deliver. See you in the next episode.